Welcome to the second episode of the podcast, It's Icy Truck Talk. If this is your first time listening, this podcast is about trucks, real builds, real mistakes, and real money. No highlight reels, no fake flexing, just what actually happens when you own, build, and work on trucks. Today's episode is called When Cheap Parts Cost More. If you've ever looked at two parts, saw the price difference, and told yourself, it'll be fine, this episode is for you. We've all been there. You're fixing something or upgrading something, the truck runs, but it needs attention. You don't want downtime, you don't want to spend more than you have to. Then you see the cheaper option. Same description, same fitment. Reviews look decent, and your brain starts justifying it. You tell yourself you're being smart. You tell yourself you're saving money. You tell yourself the famous last words, probably. And sometimes it is fine. For a while. But when it's not, it's never just the part that fails. I remember one time I cheaped out on a part because I didn't want to wait and I didn't want to spend the extra money. At the time, it worked. The truck ran. Everything seemed okay. But not long after, that decision came back to bite me. The part failed. And when it failed, it didn't fail quietly. It caused more problems than the original issue ever did. What should have been a one-time job turned into tearing the same thing apart again. By the time it was over, I paid for the cheap part, the replacement part, extra labor, more time, and a lot of frustration. That cheap part ended up being the most expensive one. Here's the thing most people don't talk about enough. Labor is the real cost. Parts don't just cost money, they cost time, they cost effort, they cost weekends, and sometimes they cost missed work or missed opportunities. When you cheap out on a part that's hard to get to, you're gambling twice, once on the part itself and once on your time. The truck doesn't care that you were trying to save money. Cheap parts usually work until they don't, and they almost always fail at the worst possible time. So, here's a rule I live by now. If the part is hard to access, buy quality. If the part is easy to replace, gamble if you want. Because doing a job twice is never cheaper than doing it once. And honestly, this lesson doesn't just apply to trucks. It applies to tools, equipment, and business decisions too. Trying to save money up front usually costs more on the back end. Experience is expensive, but it teaches fast. I'm not saying every cheap part is junk. I'm saying most expensive mistakes start with the sentence, I was just trying to save some money. If you've ever been burned by a cheap part, you already know exactly what I'm talking about. Thanks for listening to It's Icy Truck Talk. I'll see you in the next one.